Timo Werner arrived at Stamford Bridge after a sensational year in Leipzig. The Red Bull Arena came to its feet every time the German international touched the ball. After a haul of 34 goals in 45 competitive outings, 28 of which came in the Bundesliga. Moreover, he'd rubbed shoulders with the best in the business, scoring 4 goals in Die Roten Bullen's debut Champions League campaign. Deservedly, the expectations were high in West London. This was the man Frank Lampard had convinced to join Chelsea after Liverpool's gambit of bait and renege had proved ineffective. Lampard had made a lot of phone calls, and so had agent Antonio Rudiger. Moreover, the Blues had spent €53 million to secure his services. In the coronavirus-marred financial world, this was a huge outlay that was not matched by the Big Six. While Kai Havertz's arrival will put his transfer fee to shame, Timo Werner had big boots to fill. He was arriving not only to provide another attacking dimension to Chelsea, but also bear the burden of goal scoring. Tammy Abraham and Olivier Giroud had shouldered this task the season before, but they've been nowhere near as prolific as Timo Werner was at RB Leipzig. The Chelsea duo would serve to be the same ploy he had German defences figuring out alongside Yussuf Poulsen. Alongside Poulsen, it was not just Werner's goal-scoring feats that were highlighted, it was also his creativity skills that came through. He finished the season with 13 assists to his name. Julian Nagelsmann truly changed his outlook, just like he's doing with Emil Forsberg, Angelino and Dani Olmo. At Chelsea, Frank Lampard had the task of integrating him alongside the many other stars who arrived at Stamford Bridge this summer. After all, Werner was not the only addition to the Chelsea squad. Kai Havertz, Thiago Silva, Ben Chilwell, Edouard Mendy, Hakim Ziyech and Malang Sarr joined the ranks. Out of these, only the young Sarr has been sent out on loan, while the rest have been incorporated into the first-team roster. The acquisition cost of these players has set Chelsea back €247.2 million. However, the Blues are in 8th position in the Premier League table and can potentially dethrone Tottenham from their 5th place. With the bulk of the season yet to be played, there will be plenty of movements up and down the table, but what's important is how the individual players have adjusted to their new surroundings. Chilwell, Mendy and Silva have become undisputed stars and have impressed from the get-go. The same can't be said about Havertz and Ziyech, who struggle with form and fitness after their bouts with coronavirus and injuries respectively. The case of Timo Werner is different. He's an ever-present figure of Lampard's plans. At the same time, Abraham and Giroud fight for the target man's role. However, there's been a niggling issue of the German not being assured in his performances. He misses far too many chances and goes missing in games. It's also reflected in his goal output, which stands at a paltry 4 from 13 Premier League outings. While his goal contribution with 4 assists gives a better idea of his productivity, Chelsea fans want more from their number 11. It's not just Werner who's having issues hitting the back of the net. Giroud has 2 to his name from 8 appearances. He troubles the scorers once in 144 minutes in the English top flight. On the other hand, Tammy Abraham with 3 goals in 12 outings. The England international on average hits the back of the net after 199 minutes. While Giroud and Abraham have struggled, Werner's numbers are worse. The German lags behind with a goal every 280 minutes. That is 1 strike after every 4 games played. After a bright start, Werner is struggling to give the best account of his abilities. He admitted that the Premier League is different to the Bundesliga, and the physical side of the game is more pronounced in the English game. He's also having issues playing midweek from the start of the campaign. Playing in the Champions League takes its toll, and Werner seems to be hiding behind this. Admittedly, this has led to his poor productivity, but he's working to address them. In his own words, Werner said, "The Premier League is a little bit different to the old league that I used to play in. I have to say it's tougher than I thought. The contract here is harder than in Germany. I think it's also hard when you play every 3 days and the Champions League. Then you have to play on Saturday against teams that can rest the whole week. It makes it not easy to be the best in every game, but the Premier League is very fun to play in. The beginning was very good. Now, after a lot of games, I don't know if it's normal, but I'm struggling a little bit. There are lots of games at the moment, and I think there's some chances that I've missed 2 or 3 weeks ago that were not the best." While Werner makes genuine comments, especially about the physicality of the English game and inability to take a rest in midweek while everyone else does, the problems are more pronounced. While playing under 3 different managers in different systems and across the last 4 seasons, Werner was predominantly deployed as a centre-forward in Leipzig. Out of the 95 goals he scored for Die Roten Bullen, 90 came as a centre-forward, while only 5 were accumulated in different positions. At Chelsea, Werner has been predominantly deployed as a left winger. He's started 14 games on the left flank and played in his genuine position only 6 times. In those 6 times he's flourished, scoring 3 and laying down 3 assists. He's already closed in on his 4-year tally of playing wide in Leipzig colours, with Chelsea scoring 5 and laying down 3 assists. Not bad for an out-of-form player. Despite reinforcing their ranks, Chelsea have battled with injury throughout this season. The left flank continues to cause issues for them, despite having numerous contenders. Callum Hudson-Odoi and Christian Pulisic continue to battle with injuries and fitness, leaving Werner to fill the hole. Lampard must have had a conversation with his striker before his arrival, how he sees him fit in at Stamford Bridge. The fact that Werner has been deployed in an advanced role on the left flank and Mason Mount has not taken this role so far shows that there was an agreement between the manager and the striker. In addition to this, one has to remember that roles in a starting formation are fluid and change during the course of a game. One is involved in all facets of the game, and this is represented by their heat maps. This is something that's not changed for the Stuttgart native. He used to take up a place on the left flank at Leipzig and continues to do so in London. It seems he's being weighed down by the demands of the situation. In East Germany he had responsibilities to shoulder, but the stakes were not this high. With Bayern Munich hogging all the silverware, trophies weren't a concern. Winning them would be a plus but not required. In West London this isn't the case. Not only does Werner have to live up to his high transfer fee and score the goals, but he also has to lead the attacking lines. He has to trouble the scorers so that the club can add to their burgeoning trophy cabinet. The pressure in such situations is different. Every walk across the club's premises reminds one of the tasks at hand and what it means for the fans. The audiences are not significant at Stamford Bridge, but they're glued to their television screens. Every moment is being scrutinised, and it all gets repeated on the numerous television channels where pundits launch scathing criticisms for an error. This was not the case in Germany. Even though the pages get filled for all the same reasons, the scrutiny wasn't this high. It will take Werner some time before he gets used to this. He understands the pressure and knows exactly what it means. This is different from Michy Batshuayi, the Belgian not addressing the demands of the situation and was never able to claim a starting berth. Werner has to learn from his mistakes and move forward. Chelsea could have inflated Werner's scoring record by giving him the penalty-taking duties. A scuffle between Tammy Abraham and Timo Werner was going to break up in early October for the second penalty. Cesar Azpilicueta put the issue to rest as he took the ball from contention and gave it to Jorginho, Chelsea's preferred penalty taker. At the same time, the Italian has seen his first team numbers dry up since he remains their designated penalty taker. Only in his absence does Werner become the go-to man. Although Frank Lampard allowed Olivier Giroud to take the 4th penalty against Sevilla, it was more for the occasion rather than anything else. Werner needs time in his new surroundings before a judgment call is made on his time at Stamford Bridge. He's being given the responsibility he craves, and only with time will he be on the ascendancy that the Chelsea faithful desire for him. While the assists are there, and more will come as the squad gets accustomed to the rigours of the campaign, the goals will surely arrive once he's settled in. At the moment, he's in a rut. 5 Premier League appearances without a goal to show looks bad, but this is not the time to sound the alarm bells. That time will come later in the season, where every game can make or break the season. After only 13 games into the season, a judgment call on his time in a new league is premature, to say the least. Despite the varying success, Werner has appeared in all of Chelsea's Premier League outings, and this shows that he's following the path agreed with Lampard. Moreover, the Blues will be pleased with his bursting pace. The man who clocked 100 metres in 11.11 seconds adds a dimension that his teammates can exploit going into the tail end of the campaign. He just has to get rid of the glaring misses in front of goal. As it stands, Werner is in the privileged company to be playing on the opposite flank to Hakim Ziyech, and the Moroccan service has been a joy to behold at the Bridge. Ziyech was seen calming Werner down against Sevilla after his miss from a one-on-one situation with the goalkeeper. The former Ajax creator is known for his tantrums and outbursts, and if Werner doesn't pick up his slack, he will have him breathing down his neck. Frank Lampard also needs to have more avenues to have Werner playing at his full potential. He likes to get behind the defence, but Chelsea are usually camped outside the opposition's penalty box. They can't make the most of Turbo Timo's pace in such situations. Like Man United and Southampton, they have to learn how to invite pressure and hit their rivals on the counter. These are just some of the ways to maximise Werner's potential in his new surroundings. If Chelsea wants more from their new number 11 and hope he lives up to those who took the jersey before him, they have to play to his strengths. Not only will it help them in their endeavours, but also unleash the full potential of the German, who has the ability to single-handedly take the game away from his rivals. So far, we've only seen Timo Werner running through the entire length of the left flank, hounding defences without much to show for. Hopefully, more will come from him and he can light up the Premier League just like he did in the Bundesliga.